Hi guys, and welcome back to Unhinged but Healthy. You probably hear my dog barking already. Not home alone today, so yeah, but I've been a very busy girl. I went to go and see Tate McRae. In Manchester. Oh my god, surreal, literally surreal. I had the best time. I can't get over it. I made her a sign and everything. I don't even care. I'm just gonna own it. I made Tate McRae a sign. Yeah, it was so fun. I loved every second. I don't think I've ever had such a stress-free concert experience. It was lovely. We had loads of space. We saw everything. We were literally this close to the Tate McRae. So yeah, it's quite humbling, I am 23, 24 in under 2 months. She's 21 and I was there literally, like, she was like this close to me and I was like, Tate! I was like, get it, girl! But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I went up to Manchester last weekend, then flat out work. So I actually don't have a plan today, and I didn't really have to tell you that because we don't have the notebook anymore and I read off of this thing. So yeah, we're just raw dogging this episode today. Shouldn't have said that. Ew. Anyways, what we're going to be talking about is basically you need to stop feeling guilty about cutting off people who hurt you, okay? Stop empathizing with people who have hurt you. And I wasn't going to do this episode for a while. Today was actually meant to be my guide to a happy girl summer, but I think that's going to be in the next fortnight instead because I want to plan that one, I feel like this one I can kind of pull. And plus nothing big happened, but something kind of happened that reminded me that I wanted to film this episode. What's going on with my hair? And before I get started, if you're watching me, if you could like and subscribe and maybe comment on YouTube, and if you're listening, if you could maybe leave me a review, follow the pod, and follow my socials, which are going to be down below in the description box. So yeah, anyway, now that that's all out of the way, let's get started. So not vibing with myself today. Why are my lips so pale? Anyways, I had an experience in the last week that kind of granted, I wasn't as weak, if you're listening to the podcast, air quotations, weak, as I have been in the past. However, I want to really put emphasis on the fact that it has taken me years to get to this point, like even way back before I started this podcast, have I been battling with this situation, we'll say like the last 5 years maybe. Maybe not this specific situation, but I mean the last like nearly 23, no, yeah, literally 23, like 23 years of my life, it has taken me to get to a point where I feel so like solid and secure in who I am that I don't need to run back to situations that I know don't serve me anymore. Whereas when I was younger, as most of us do, I would run back to things in the hope that maybe they would work, instead of learning the lesson of if it hasn't worked once or maybe even twice, 3 times at a push, like it's not gonna work, not unless you take a very long break away, which from this situation I hadn't. It hasn't been a long time, But yeah, anyways, somebody from my past tried to follow me on Instagram. I have a private account, and I literally got back from Tate McRae and I was uploading videos to my Instagram story, as you do. And I saw that they'd requested to follow me, and I had been like seeing a lot of things around recently that had reminded me of this person's songs. You know, like I was thinking in the car the other day, like our song came on, and I was like, do you know what, like this is the first time I've been able to listen to this song in like 3 years, and I was just really proud of myself. And like I was seeing their initials everywhere, and like, you know, just like memories were coming up on my phone and just things like that. And I am a believer in, if things are in your mind you will see them, and that's just how it is, you know. So when things come to people that have hurt me, I don't really see things as signs anymore. If I see things that remind me of them, like in my mind, it's like that's not a sign. Like maybe it's a sign that they're thinking about me. But once I've seen the one thing and then I keep seeing other things, like in this instance, like after I heard that song and then I started seeing loads of other things, I thought, oh, it's probably just because it's in my mind, you know. And I started having dreams and stuff, and I was like, you know, it's probably just because it's in my mind. So yeah, that's that. And then I was like, something in my head was like, oh god, like I wouldn't be shocked if I hear from this person soon. And then lo and behold, they requested me on Instagram, and I didn't even feel anything, to be honest. At first, I think I was probably on such a high from like being at Tate McRae that I just didn't really feel anything about it. Like nothing was ruining that day. Nothing was ruining that day, or that weekend, to be honest. So yeah, I had thought about it. I left it there, and I was like, do you know what, like leaving it there isn't saying no, you know. Like, is there a part of me that wants to accept this? And I was like, I'm not going to. And you know, was it yesterday? I think it was the day before. I was having a bit of a weak point, but I think it's because I've had a few things happen in the last few weeks that haven't been extremely positive, but like, sorry, but they haven't affected me like majorly negatively, you know. And usually when something goes a little bit wrong is when I start to crave comfort and crave people from my past. And you know, and I got that feeling of like, well, it's just there, like it would be so easy to just accept it. And for a moment I felt bad. I was like, you know, this person's trying to reach out and I'm not accepting it. Like, does that make me a mean person? Like, what do they have to say? Like, maybe they miss me, maybe they're sorry. Like, and this is what comes in my head every time. And you know, like curiosity kills the cat, as they say. And this time I was like, do you know what? No, like I'm actually not going to feel bad, because not even 2 months ago, this person was making a joke out of me on on some sort of profile that they had. I haven't spoken about it on the podcast, so I'm not going to speak right now because it didn't really bother me, to be honest. But yeah, so not even a month, like, you know, not a month, not even 2 months ago had they made a joke out of me on something online, and then made sure that me and my best friend would see it, you know. And like this person has also done countless things to me that I've forgiven and forgiven and forgiven, and acted like they haven't happened, just because of who this person was to me, and just because I had so much love for this person. And I've finally gotten to a place of like, and I never thought I'd get here. I never thought I'd get here. So it makes me really happy, to be honest. Like, I don't have an issue with this person. I don't think it's somebody that I need to speak to again unless they really, really change. And I just don't see that happening. Like, and that's not even a dig at that person. It's just to implement change, you have to really want to change, and you have to really see a problem with your behavior. And I just don't think that that's something that a lot of people do, or it's just too uncomfortable. You know, like I used to see my habits years ago and I didn't understand that they were habits, and when somebody would come back I would think it would mean that I'm worthy, but I didn't understand that, you know, so I would just take them back with open arms. Whereas this time, as I said, for the first for the first time, like, and again, I never thought I'd get to this point, I am just happy, you know, no romantic interest, like not really that many friends, like nothing extremely exciting going on in my current life. Like I'm just happy where I'm at, where my feet are, you know, and like it's been such a long time. Like I caught myself earlier and yesterday being like, I'm so bored, like I just want to speak to someone. And then it's like, do you know what? Like being bored is actually a blessing. Like after everything I've been through in, well, my whole life, really, like it's actually really nice that things are smooth sailing, and like I know that there's difficult times coming. Like I have something really exciting coming up, but I also know that it's going to be really conflicting emotionally, you know, and I'm just sort of like mentally prepping myself for that. And it's also kind of given me that oomph to like kind of dismiss these things and move on to a new chapter in my life, because why would I, well, I'm not going to say that actually, but yeah, like just why would I want to ruin my time here, you know, is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, I'm finally at a point, like I literally have no bad feelings towards the people that have hurt me. Like they just aren't people that I want to tolerate anymore. And yeah, so anyway, the point of that long-winded intro was that basically I am finally at a point where I could not accept that follow request, and it's taken me a long time to get there, basically is what I'm trying to say, and I don't particularly feel guilty for it either. And when I did feel guilty for it, I recognised that in my mind, and it's just again a place I never thought that I would actually get to. And I'm gonna run through for you how I feel I've gotten here. Oh, I've just washed my hair and it's just looking really frizzy, and I did go for a walk right after I dried it. It probably didn't help. Look how thick it's getting, guys. Look how long. Fringes, full fringe era over and out for now. I kind of like it. But yeah, anyway, getting into the episode. How did I get here? I feel like you have to really get to a point where you actually respect yourself, and it's really hard getting there. And I feel like once you felt a way so many times, you don't want to feel that way anymore, and you kind of feel that it's coming. And with this person in particular, and many other people in my life that I no longer speak to, they have hurt me so many times to the point where I'm like, do you know what? Eventually, another interaction with this person is going to lead to me being hurt again, and I don't want to invest my energy into people who are hurting me anymore. And it's hard, and like I've had this with friends that I've cut off, and I've had this with romantic interests that I've cut off, and I've had this with family members that I've cut off. Like an example of this would be I stopped speaking to one of my family members 2.5 years ago now, and they will, you know, they will buy me things for occasions. I don't want it. I don't ask for it. I don't want it. And when I was younger, I often used to be bought. So someone would really hurt me, they wouldn't apologise to me. They would just buy me something. They would just buy me things, and then they were fine with me. And that was the apology. So then I kind of learned like, oh, people don't have to apologise to me. Sorry again for the noise. People don't have to apologise to me. You know, people don't have to be sorry for what they did. We can just brush it under the carpet, and them buying me something is a symbol that they've forgiven me for something that I haven't actually done, a problem that they caused, you know, in a way that they treated me, not the other way around. Or maybe that was them feeling guilty, I don't know. So then when this was happening, sometimes, like especially once time passes, I felt quite guilty, and I was like, am I making the right choice here, like by still not speaking to this person? Like, am I just being horrible? Like, is this them trying? Like, you know? And then I realized, like, no, actually, because they still haven't bothered to apologize 2.5 years down the line. No apology, no acknowledgement of what they did wrong. You know, I've heard from other family members they don't think they did anything wrong. Like, you know, like they haven't made an effort to know what I actually want. Like, they still buy me things that I liked 2.5 years ago that I don't actually like now. Like, there is actually no effort there. It's just being given to me. And again, I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. And that might sound ungrateful, but yeah. And it was hard, and I did feel guilty. Like, they was like, in the first year and a half, they were buying me nice things, and I was just like, I didn't ask for it though. I don't want it. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. You know, I don't want you to get me anything. I just want things done, you know. And like, and that's really hard to then think in your head, like, oh, do I say thank you? Like, no. Like, if someone has hurt you, like, you just leave it, like, unless they are literally trying to apologize to you. Like, time passing isn't an apology, something material isn't an apology, you know. And it's difficult, and I feel like it has to happen a few times for you to kind of like stop feeling bad about it, in a sense. But yeah, and like, again, like with the like follow requests on Instagram, I know it might sound stupid, I'm basing this whole episode basically around follow requests, but like, if that person really wanted to reach me, like, they've got my number, you know, like, text me, you know. Like, you don't need to follow me on Instagram. Like, there's no apology there, there's no remorse there, that, you know, there's still no, I've done something wrong. Because if you had, you would do everything to reach me. Like, your brain is going to look for that curiosity. And then I felt bad, and I was like, well, what if they're trying to apologize to me and I've just not even taken their olive branch? But again, Instagram, to me, after everything that person has put me through, is not an olive branch. You know, again, you've got my number, call me, text me. You know, like, and I can guarantee you, if I accepted that person and then asked, like, why didn't you text me, they'd be like, oh, well, you didn't accept my follow request, so I thought you wouldn't reply. But like, if someone's genuinely sorry, like, they don't care if they get a reply or not, you know. And yeah, and this leads me then to what I did when I did feel guilty. So that evening I came home from work, and, you know, a few things had happened. Like, I think I spoke about it in my last episode. I took on a new class in work, like a dancey fit type class, aerobics. I'm not dancey fit. I'm not dancey fit. I did that today for the first time. I was so scared, I was so nervous. I sweat more than all of them. Oh my god, it was terrifying. But it was so funny, and it was quite fun. But yeah, so I had that coming up, and like, I was feeling really nervous for that. And I think it just led me to kind of like wanting familiarity, and like, the familiarity was there. It was literally one click away, and that's the worst thing about social media, I fear. But yeah, like, I would never reach out, but like, if I got reached out to, you know. So yeah, so I came home, and I was just reminding myself over and over again, like, all of the horrible things that this person has done to me. And like, have they felt bad about it? No. Have they ever apologized for any of it? No. countless things, years and years. We're talking maybe six years, maybe 7, you know, of countless things. And I ran back every time, and every time was the same. And I'm just reminded myself how sick I am of that feeling. And I feel like you have to be really disciplined, and you have to be really like, and I'm not saying I'm like really rooted in my self-worth. I still don't know if I am, to be honest. I feel like there may be some tests there that I need to get through, some patterns that I need to break. And I feel like this was a chance to break a pattern, and so far I've broken it. You know, I haven't spoken to this person for 5 months, and that's the nearly the longest time I've ever gone, second longest time. And I made a promise to myself. I made a promise to myself in December. I will not speak to this person this year. I'm sick and tired of the constant on and off communication, me always feeling left sad, you know, and heartbroken again from something that I've been trying to heal from for years, and I feel I finally have, you know. So yeah, and I just reminded myself of those feelings, and that I didn't want to feel like that anymore. Like, heartbreak is the absolute worst thing, you know. It's the worst. Well, it's not, well, it is. You can be heartbroken from anything, and it's a horrible feeling, and it stays with you. If you're anything like me, it stays with you for months, especially when you get so in your head. And I again, I don't know if I am deeply rooted in my foundations and my self-worth. I won't know probably until someone new comes along, because we all know what I'm like with the boys. You know, I'm not the most nonchalant girly. If anything, I am quite chalant, and I do really, really let it get me down. And I'd like to hope that maybe that's changed now after the last time. But yeah, I don't want to be heartbroken again, especially not by, you know, a recurring person. But yeah, so I was just kind of reminding myself for the 90th time that I don't want to feel that way again, and especially not by that person in particular. And it really works, you know, like, and then I was just like, oh, they're gonna think, they're gonna think like, oh, she's such a bitch, blah blah blah. And then I was like, do you know what, I really don't care, because if this person can't see how badly they've hurt me time and time again, then that's really not someone I'd want to speak to anyway. And if they have finally realised, like, oh my god, like, I put her through the ringer, like, let's apologise, then good. I hope you feel bad. You should feel bad, you know? Like, I didn't deserve to be treated that way. And now your karma is that you can't apologise to me because I won't accept you on Instagram. Oh, you know? But again, like, there's no hard feelings there. Like, it's just done, you know? And I hate when other people can't see that. Like, no, I actually don't hate you. I just don't care anymore. I just don't care about you anymore. And that's that. And you asked for that, you know? But yeah, so I feel like you really have to care for yourself, and you do have to have some growing level of self-love. Like, I love myself so much now that I wouldn't want to put myself through that, and I don't even feel it's worth the guilt that I feel afterwards anymore. Like, after going through that cycle, and it's like you do have to break the cycle. Like, someone has to break the cycle, and if it's not going to be the other person, it's going to be you know. And maybe it is your cycle to break, and maybe they will move on and find a new friend, find a new girlfriend, whatever, you know. And that's fine. Like, something better is out there for you. And that's another point. Like, you have to have faith, like you have to have trust in the universe, God, whatever you believe in. Like, you just have to have faith that like this didn't work out because something better is coming for you. And when someone's treated you so badly, of course something better is coming for you. Do you really think that a friend or boyfriend, girlfriend, family member that hurts you is like, do you really think that's all there is for you? Because it's not. Like, I can promise you it's not. And you kind of have to have this faith and have this belief that something better is coming, but it's only coming if you let this go, you know. And like, with this situation, I don't really have to remind myself of that anymore, but in the very early days of it, I did have to. And even in the not so very early days of it, when this person would come back all the time, like, I even had to remind myself then, like, when things would go tits up, you know. But yeah, I feel like you have to build that trust with yourself, and eventually you'll get to a point of like, it's not worth breaking that trust anymore. Like, it's not worth the feeling you get when you betray yourself for someone else, especially when you know that they wouldn't do it for you, if that makes sense. And I feel like that helps me through a lot of things. Like, a lot of people wouldn't do for me what I would do for them, and I either have to be okay with that, or I have to say like, okay, well, they wouldn't actually do that for me, so no, I'm not going to do it for them either. And that's just me pouring into the cups of the people who pour into mine. That was a very long-winded way to say it. But yeah, and I feel like discipline is a big part as well. Like, becoming self-disciplined. I used to slip up a lot more than I do now. And I feel like obviously time plays a part, like you get over things in time anyway. However, what also plays a part is learning your triggers and the things that they make you do. And I feel like once you learn your triggers, like, you know, like, I had something new coming up this week and I was craving comfort because it was very out of my comfort zone. And, you know, also like things in work not going great, and you know, like, other things happened in the week as well, and those were triggers for me, and this person is comfort. And usually what I would have done is gone and accepted that follow request, and I would have spoken to this person just because it would have made me feel better temporarily. And you kind of have to learn that like the temporary highs aren't worth the lows that they come with, and betraying yourself and that self-trust, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's kind of like just knowing what's going to trigger you, how you usually react, breaking that pattern by reacting in a different way, because that's the only way we break patterns and cycles, is when things happen. And instead of, you know, in my instance, accepting this follow request, speaking to this person, it going well for a few days, and then things going downhill, and then me being upset for weeks, instead I recognised my triggers and how they were making me feel, recognised that that's something that I did want to do, but it wouldn't be the best for me, and I didn't do it. And then that's me breaking the cycle, you know. And then that's gonna build some sort of something, it's gonna thicken some sort of pathway in my brain, and then if it happens again, which it probably will, I can say, well, last time I didn't do it and I was okay and I was safe and I was fine and nothing went wrong, and I actually felt better than when I did the old thing. So, you know, new neural pathway built, cycle broken, you know. But yeah, I do feel self-discipline comes in here, and this is something I didn't used to have very much of, and I do feel it's because my foundations were quite weak. My beliefs and like what I stood for were quite weak. My self-worth, my self-perception was very weak. I thought that this person in particular meant that I was worthy when they would speak to me, because they'd be like, oh, they're back, yeah, like, yeah, I got it, like, you know, like I have it anyway, you know, it doesn't matter who wants to speak to me and who doesn't want to speak to me. I have it. I know that, you know. I don't need anyone else to let me know that either. And people coming back doesn't mean you have it, it just means I was easy to access once and I'm not anymore. Stop accepting those breadcrumbs, honey. But yeah, and I've decided that's not enough for me anymore, and that's okay. I'm allowed to decide that. I'm allowed to make that decision. You know, like these people once decided that we weren't enough anymore and they were fine. And did they feel bad about that decision? No, not until it blew up in their face. I can guarantee you that not having somebody that's hurt you in your life has not blown up in your face. Okay? Unless you did the dirty, it doesn't blow up in your face. And their karma is never having access to you ever, 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 ever again. But yeah, anyways, so self-discipline, you know, like I'm disciplined when it comes to nourishing my body. I'm disciplined when it comes to going to the gym and classes. I'm disciplined with getting my steps in every day. I'm disciplined with my work. I'm disciplined with my times. You know, I'm disciplined with taking care of myself. I'm learning to be disciplined in my social life and my friendship circle, you know, like making decisions that are good for me. And before I was disciplined in those areas of my life, I would kind of just let anyone in and out. And now that I have these boundaries in these areas and I actually care about me and I show up for me and I love myself more than I love other people, like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, like now I can get all these things for myself. Like there is nothing that someone else can give me that I can't give myself, you know, like I'm busy. I'm a busy woman, you know, like as Sabrina Carpenter would say. But yeah, you know, like I'm busy, I'm taking care of me, I'm watering my own seeds, like, you know, I see the people I want to see and I do the things I want to do and I buy the things that I want to buy within reason. Like I know now that life goes on with these people in it or not, and if they aren't adding to my life and they're just taking away and they're draining my energy, actually why? Like why? And what, like why would I want you in my life? And being disciplined in those other areas of your life and like building those neural pathways where you are disciplined, you know, in your day-to-day life. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you have to go to the gym every day and you have to get your 10k steps in. You can't have a cheap meal. Like, you know, I'm not saying you can't do those things. Like if you don't do those things, then you're not gonna let people from the past back into your life. Like that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is if you are disciplined in in each area of your life, you kind of build those stronger neural connections that actually I care about myself and I respect myself because I've shown myself I show up on time, I eat well, I nourish my body, I move my body, like I get my work done, I get important things done, I take care of me. I don't know if I've already said that, you know, like I do all of that for myself, you know, like you have that respect for yourself then, you've built that trust, so why would you then break it for somebody that literally showed you that they couldn't care less about you? You know, like stop feeling bad for these people because they don't feel bad. And it took me years to understand this. Like I used to be like, when people would come running back, I'd be like, oh my god, yay, like they finally feel bad, like they realize that I'm worth feeling bad about. Like no, that's not what it says. Like they just know, they know. Like when people don't come back, it's actually a good sign. Like it's not, if you've been nothing but good to someone and you know you had a good time with that person and they kind of just laughed up and laughed, whether they ghosted you or whether they cheated on you or whether they were just horrible to you, you know, and they just put you down, whatever they did to you, like eventually it's gonna come up. they're gonna know, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, you know, I shouldn't have done that, like that was actually a really nice person, unless they're a complete narcissist, in which case they won't understand that they ever did anything wrong. But again, that's nothing to do with you. You know, where was I going with this point? Yeah, like, you know, like, unless you were the problem, like, people are always going to think, like, I shouldn't have done that, you know, and none of it will have anything to do with you. Like, what they did has nothing to do with you, and them coming back doesn't mean that you're worthy. Like, whether they come back or not, it doesn't mean that you're worthy. Like, yes, maybe they did realize that they did something wrong and they're coming back, but you should not feel bad for not wanting them in your life anymore. Like, once somebody has done something once, you know, second chance is fine, but like, if you really want to, like, I personally don't think I could really do that anymore. But chances are, like, you can't change the foundations of a person, and you shouldn't feel bad. Like, that's just who they are. It's nothing to do with you. Like, they did it to the last person, they'll do it to the next, and they'll do it to the one after that. Like, again, as everyone says, you aren't the first, you won't be the last, whatever situation it is. So don't feel bad. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. You have just reacted to a way that you have been treated, and if they don't like that, then that's on them. They can't get away with treating people the way that they do and not have any consequences for it, you know, and that's something that people need to learn. I really feel like there was more I wanted to say, and then I'm going to stop recording, and then I'm going to be like, damn, because that happens every time. But yeah, people need to have the consequences of their actions, you know, and just because you would let people in before, we grow, we change, you know. I'm not going to let you in anymore because I don't want to. Like, I'm nearly 24, I'm not wasting my life on people that don't respect me anymore. And that's what I was saying, if people don't come back, it's probably because they know they can't, and that's a good thing, and they don't want to be rejected, you know. But yeah, don't feel bad for those people. They aren't nice people. Maybe they are nice people, but they did a bad thing. Nice people do bad things sometimes. But that doesn't mean that they deserve your time and energy again either, okay? But yeah, love yourself more than you love other people, and remember that a romanticized version of what you guys could be, whatever the relationship type may be in your head, is not what it would be. Is a projection of what you would do in that position. They're not going to do it, okay? Most likely they're not going to do it. So yeah, just remember, if to get what you want in life, put yourself first, baby girl. Put yourself first, and just stay true to you. You know, as cringe as it is, just stay true to you, and don't let people walk all over you, and eventually people will come into your life that don't walk all over you, okay? Because you didn't let anyone else. So raise the bar, and live your life, girl. But yeah,